Hi, I'm Leica, welcome to my channel and welcome back to Buried. We are about to start chapter 3. Curiosity, you and 58% of players called out to Marcus when you saw him in the tunnel. Selflessness, you and 64% of players stepped in front of Dennis to protect him from Marcus. And mercy, you and 65% of players were easy on Marcus after he surrendered. And here we go, chapter 3. We follow Marcus into what I can only describe as a control room of sorts. There are countless computer screens, some of which are obviously coming back on from having been shut off. Everything looks extremely complicated, from screens filled with code and data to what is obviously a security system. It reminds me of a miniaturised version of the operations centre in just about every space travel movie I've ever seen. Marcus is running from one screen to another, apparently looking for some pertinent bits of information. Where's the first aid kit? I snap at him. Marcus stops in his tracks, as if he has forgotten the whole reason for bringing us down here. Oh yeah, he says, rushing towards the left side of the room. There he hunkers down by an open panel in the wall, what I assume is the emergency vault from where we got the rifle. So, do we look at the computer monitors or peer into the vault? Well, if there's going to be more guns in the vault, I want to see what's into the vault. I peer over Marcus's shoulder into the vault he's opened. It's much larger than it looks from the outside. It's partially filled with file folders marked classified, a few rounds of ammo for the rifle, and a peculiar plastic kit filled with syringes, and a locked black box. As Marcus digs around, one of the folders slips open. For the split second it's open, I see a scanned document and a colour photo. The photo shows a male corpse with its guts on the outside of its body. Ugh. As if it had just been turned inside out. There's also a massive swelling on his head, almost like his skull is about to explode. Marcus slaps the folder closed, and I turn my attention to one of the syringes. It's filled with a violet coloured fluid that, while rather pretty in colour, looks deadly. Marcus finally pulls out the first aid kit and turns around. When I look back to motion Dennis over, he's paler than ever. Come on, I tell him, but he's not moving from the place on the floor where he sits against the wall. I slide the first aid kit over to him and go scrambling to his side. Between the struggle for the rifle upstairs and arriving in his room, he's faded fast. I struggle to lift his shirt up and then over his shoulders as the dried blood holds it in place. The mere act causes him to grimace. This might hurt a little, I tell Dennis. He only nods, he doesn't seem to care. Oh, do I do it quickly or slowly? Well, that might hurt less, but it might make him bleed more. Oh, I'm going to be gentle. I lift the shirt off gently and it makes a sucking sound. There's so much blood that the moisture tries to keep the shirt pulled to him. Dennis lets out a little moan but seems to relax in spite of his injuries. With the shirt fully removed, the extent of his injuries becomes more clear. His wound is more visible now, although it's partially hidden by the blood that has started to clot around it. My medical knowledge is slim, basically just a bunch of basics I learned in Boy Scouts. I look over to Marcus and ask, "You have any training?" "Zero," he says. "Sorry." It's just as well, I guess. He's far too concerned with what's happening on the monitors to be of much help anyway. I start by taking out several rolls of gauze within the kit and wipe as much blood as I can away from the wound on his side. It's even worse than I had figured from the start. The gash is deep and dark. I'm pretty sure it's infected too. He's going to need stitches, that's for sure, but I have no idea how to even start with that. Besides, I don't see the tools in it for the kit. When I splash rubbing alcohol over the wound, he responds with a hoarse yelp of surprise, but nothing more. His eyes are locked on me and he looks appreciative, but he's also scared. "Be honest," Dennis says hopefully. "How bad does it look? You think I'll live?" Well, it does look really bad, but I'm not... I'll tell him he'll be fine. I can't very well say to him, "Yeah, you're gonna die, dude." So you'll be fine. Good to know, he says, because I sure don't feel like that. You've been through hell, I say, but I think it feels worse than it actually looks. Thanks, that's a relief. I won't lie, you're going to have a scar, I say, trying to be funny. He chuckles a bit, but there's no humour in it. He rests his head against the wall and closes his eyes as I finish up. I place one layer of gauze against the wound and bind it with medical tape. I then reinforce it with a second layer. I know it's meagre, but it's all I can do. Thanks, Roger, he says, actually managing to force out a smile. I feel a lot better. I think I'll be fine. Dennis, you're not the sharpest tool in the box, are you? I'm not so sure about that, but I'm glad I was able to encourage him. I look back to Marcus and he's looking back at us deep in thought. My eye is starting to really swell from where he kicked me earlier. Maybe I shouldn't have let him off so easily. Are these first aid kits all you have in this facility? I ask him. If there's something better, I don't know about it, he says. I then notice that his defensive posture is no longer there. Something is different now, just a slight change in his demeanour. He's seen something on those monitors, something that has him frightened more than he already was before. What is it, I ask? What's wrong? His eyes travel around the room and it's obvious he's trying to decide whether or not to tell me the truth. I'm just going to go and look. Rather than wait for him, I get up and scan the screens behind him, seeing if I can find any clues I had missed moments ago. After a few moments, I see a few things that even I can comprehend, hidden in the complex information on most of the screens. On one screen, I see what looks like a power meter that is slowly climbing upwards. A single message is flashing beneath it. It reads, "Unexpected power failure, foreign entity." Another message trickling along the bottom of the black screen says, "Safety locks on level 3 containment, doors engaged. Override." I see still scenes on a few of the screens that I can assume are security cameras showing hallways and passages from elsewhere in the facility. One of them shows the first level hallway we were on just a few minutes ago. Another shows a hallway I don't recognise. The floor is covered in blood. From just off the screen, I see what I think might be a human body, but it's bent in an impossible way. It looks like the body's legs and torso have somehow been merged or melted into the floor. Ugh, what happened to that person there? I have no idea, I didn't see it, he says. Whatever happened to that guy must have happened in the last minute or so. What the hell? I ask. There's something still happening? Are we still in danger? He turns away, clearly fearing he has already said too much. And as bad as that is, there's a scene on another monitor that makes my blood go cold, and my fear spike to a level somewhere near terror. The scene is very familiar. It's the logging site. The equipment is unmistakably mine. I can even see my truck. Something like fury starts to rise up in my guts, momentarily pushing aside the fear. For a moment I consider just tearing into him. Excuse me. A few punches and a shove against the wall, nothing more. I want answers, and I want them now, but I'm not sure which would provide more answers, calmly asking or kicking his ass. Well, the thing is, I was easy on him earlier and he punched me in the face. So I think I owe him a few punches, but that might not be the best way to get the answers I want. Oh, I really want to hit him. I should be calm, but I really want to hit him. Should be calm, but I really want to hit him, so hit him. I figure since he's just an IT guy, I can probably intimidate him. I grab Marcus by the collar of his shirt and point to the screen. Why have you been spying on my crew? I shout. Oh, I didn't even get to punch him. It was part of my job, mine and a few others. Your crew has been watched ever since you set up your equipment. Why? Marcus tries to draw up some anger of his own, but it isn't as toxic as mine. Still, I know there's a fight on my hands if I want one. Because, he says, your logging site was set up less than a mile away from the entrance to a highly classified government facility. How the hell was I supposed to know that? I scream at him. Where are the signs and the guards? Marcus gives me that same crooked, trembling smile that is beginning to creep me out. Because those things would draw attention to this place, he says. You have no idea how secretive this facility is. Besides, I know that the higher-ups looked into it. Your site isn't on government land. It's shy by about 300 metres. Every piece of your equipment is on private property. Your timber tractor you purchased from Mr. Gladstone 2 months ago. So even if we wanted to intervene and keep your crew away, we couldn't have without stirring up a fuss. The fact that someone with such a low-level clearance knows this much about my logging crew is unnerving. If you've been watching us, why didn't you recognise us when we met in the hallway, I ask. He shakes his head and exhales like it's obvious. The cameras have a bird's eye view. I can't see faces, we just track bodies and names. Oh right, this guy's gonna get it. Look, Marcus says, all of you were on the site as usual before the incident. It had been a few hours since I had checked though. I can tell he is starting to get rattled by this interrogation. He continues with his eyes fixed on the keyboard. They might have come near the facility, or maybe not, I don't know. I'd tell you if I did, okay? Well, are they inside the facility, I shout. You have cameras everywhere, right? Look for them. Marcus puts his hands up defensively. I've been looking all over and I haven't seen your crew. But, he adds, the lower levels don't have any cameras classified. I'm not sure how they would have gotten there, but it's a possibility. I'm still shocked that we were being watched. Do they know everything about us? I'm telling you, Marcus said, the depth of influence in this facility goes deep. There are 36 employees down here. Outside of those employees, only 5 other people know this place exists. I'm done with being calm. He doesn't even pause to consider if he should go any further. He actually laughs when he gives me the answer. I honestly don't know everything. Probably very little. But what I do know is it's much more than Black Ops. What does that mean, I ask? There are scientists here who have been disowned by their own governments because of the nature of their work. You get it now? I don't, not at all, but I don't want him to know that. You said there are 36 employees, I say. Where are they now? He shakes his head. As far as I know, everyone else is gone. Gone where? He points to the screen that still informs us of the unexpected power failure and cringes. If this power failure was not corrected in time, there's no telling. But they're here in the facility somewhere, right? I ask, hoping someone will be able to help Dennis better than I can. I don't know. I just don't know, Marcus says. They could be anywhere. Look, I say, furious with the way he's talking in riddles. I don't. Ah, God, Dennis says. What? I look over to him and he looks as pale as a ghost. He stood up and his eyes are locked on the monitor closest to him. What? I ask. He simply points to the monitor and then looks away. I look to the monitor and then see the logging site, but more specifically I see the overturned dozer and Tony's crushed body several feet away from it where I pulled him out. Tony. The fact of his death seems abstract almost, like it happened in some other world or a very long time ago. I know you already told me he was gone, Dennis whispers, but it's different actually seeing him. My God. Oh, well, I'm glad I was honest back then. He probably would have really freaked out if I hadn't have told him. Suddenly something blazes by the open door outside. The shape is fast and in shadow, but I'm pretty sure it's a person. Something else is here, Marcus says, wheeling around. He sounds very happy to discover this, so I try to follow his lead. If something bad happens at this facility, then surely the sight of another survivor is a good thing, right? We should check it out, he says. I realise this isn't the best moment to leave Dennis after revisiting Tony's death all over again. Someone just ran by the door, I tell him. Hopefully, it'll be someone who help us, someone who can help us. You going to be okay? We'll be right back. We'll be right back. It's fine, go and see who it is, he says, giving me a mock thumbs up. I turn to Marcus and motion for us to head out to investigate. Let's be careful, Marcus says. Well, duh. Depending on who it is, they might not be as hesitant to shoot a stranger as I was. I nod at him as I head to the door. I'm still holding the rifle in my hand and I don't know if I have the guts to actually use it if needed. With a final look back to Dennis, I run into the second level hallway. Marcus follows. There is still fear in his eyes, but also the slightest glimmer of hope. That hope is contagious. We take off after the figure that has just ran past command. Ahead of us, the facility presents yet another long hallway. Right away, I notice this level of the hallway seems darker, even though the lights are all on now. The hallway is adorned with numbered yellow doorways and large white panels along the walls. It's clean and well maintained, but there's something ominous about it. Up ahead, I see a fleeting motion of something dark cutting quickly to the left down a corridor. There, I say, pointing up ahead. Marcus gives a nod, and we continue chasing after the person we saw blazed by the command centre just moments ago. It then occurs to me that this person could be like Marcus was at first, armed and scared. Well, excuse me, sorry. If I move towards them slowly, I'm going to yell. I'm going to shout. It worked with Marcus. Hey, stop! Who's there? I get no response, and I'm unsure if I should be relieved or upset about this. The last person we met nearly killed me with a rifle. Why would this person be any different? I quickly dart around the corner and take the same shooting stance I've seen countless times on TV. There's a woman standing there about 10 feet away. She has reddish blonde hair and a small mousy build. She looks terrified and is visibly shaking. She's probably in her late 30s, wearing a lab coat with a dark jeans and a green Converse low tops. That's very specific. I have a strange sense that her fear is not just about our sudden appearance. She looks like a woman who's been running scared for a while now. Her hands are raised in surrender. She's not holding a weapon. Marcus slowly approaches, taking a few steps ahead of me. It's Amy, right? He asks. She blinks, seemingly surprised that he knows her name. Yes, she says, and you're Marcus. She nods absently and then looks to my rifle. Well, I'm not going to use it. Now, how do I know that? She asks. You're trespassing on government property in the midst of a huge catastrophic event, and you have a rifle. How am I supposed to believe you? I have a friend back in the command centre who needs medical attention, I say, and we're looking for the rest of our crew. I'm really sorry, but I don't know where they are, she says. Do you know what happened? Marcus asks. From the power outage? I don't know what caused it, she says, but there was an experiment taking place when the outage occurred. Something happened and she trails off here, giving me a look of distrust. I saw things on the security monitors, Marcus says. The experiment failed, didn't it? I don't know the specifics, Amy says. I barely escaped the 3rd floor. I was going to the command centre to see if the security footage showed anything, then I saw you and the gun. Listening to their conversation, I'm feeling totally in the dark. What does you sound scared? What experiments? Amy looks to me, her eyes wide and terrified. Who are you anyway? She asks. I quickly give her my story. A logger stranded in the woods following a peculiar explosion at our logging site. As I tell her, recognition blooms in her eyes. You're one of the loggers. Yes. She then looks to Marcus and says, I thought they were being watched. They were, Marcus says. This was a freak accident and there's no proof that they were responsible. I feel myself wanting to submit to all of the questions that are piling up in my head, but Dennis is waiting for me. Well, I need to help Dennis. If I ask for more questions, he might just die. I decide that despite my curiosity, I need to get Dennis help as soon as humanly possible. Look, is there any medical help to be had around here or not? I ask. Probably, Amy says, but you'd have to find Colonel Barksdale. He knows where all of those sorts of supplies are. And where is he? Where is everyone else? I ask. At this, Amy starts to weep. She falls to her knees as if someone has struck her from behind. Gone, she says. Some were killed and some were just, I don't know. They disappeared right in front of me. What, disappeared? That would be my answer. I'd be like, what? Disappeared? But I'm going to ask what's going on. Something's here with us, Amy says. Well, I kind of gathered that. We were conducting an experiment and it all went horribly wrong. Something came through. Came through what? Marcus asks. I don't even know that much. An entity. But whatever it is, it's still here somewhere, Amy responds. How could you not know? Don't you have full security access? I ask. No. I have access to almost everything, but there are 2 levels of security beyond my clearance. So what do you suggest we do now? I ask. I'm not sure, she says, wiping her tears away, but if you want to find your crew, we need to find Barksdale. He's in charge. Where is he? I ask. Down on the 3rd level, in the hangar. Dun dun dun. Then let's go, I say. It's not that easy, Amy says, again looking to the rifle in my hands. Why not? Like I said, something came through when the power went out. There's several of them, all roaming around the 3rd level. Well, it doesn't really matter, we have to go, but I want to know what came through. All I know is that the others referred to them as entities. Amy shudders as she recalls the horrors she has seen. I don't even know how to describe them. I didn't get a good look, she says. And all I did was run for my life. Behind me I just heard screams. I know it's not very scientific of me, but I didn't feel like sticking around to learn more. She's right, Marcus says, stopping my train of thought. The things I saw on the monitors, it was crazy. This is insane, I bark. I'm going to the 3rd level to find this Barksdale guy. Thanks for your help. Wait, Marcus said, I'm sticking with you. If we want to get here, we have to find Barksdale, right? Yes, Amy says, but Barksdale is on the 3rd floor and it's too dangerous to go back there. I figure I'll let them make their own decisions. In the meantime, I start heading back to the command centre to get Dennis. Before I get there, I hear their footfalls behind me, getting closer. I give Amy a questioning look and she quickly looks away, clearly torn. Neither one of you know your way around here, she says. Looking for Barksdale on your own would be suicide. Like it or not, she has a point. Fine, I say. Then let's get Dennis from the command centre and head down together. We enter the command centre and I'm happy to see that Dennis has regained some of his colour. We're going to get you some help, I tell him, and then we're going to find our crew and get the hell out of here. Well, except for Tony. More help would be great, he says. With the way you took an hour to get my shirt off earlier, I'm not letting you touch me again. Wait, Amy says, maybe one of us should stay here with him. I'll be okay, Dennis says. He stands to his feet with a grunt. You don't know what's down there. You don't know what's out there, Amy says. I saw them. I saw what they can do. This facility is not safe. Oh, what can they do? I kind of want to know both. What are there any of them on this floor? I'm not sure, she says, but they are down there on the 3rd floor, so we'll need to be careful. Marcus looks a little hesitant, but he nods his agreement and the 4 of us exit the command centre. Heading back into the hallway, I look back to the monitors. I take a final look at the screen that shows my rec login site and I feel a pang of sorrow. Then I look to the other monitors showing live feeds of the facility's security cameras. I try to tell myself that I'm not looking for any sign of Amy's creatures, but I can't. That's exactly what I'm doing. There's no need to pretend otherwise. We head back through the hall and towards the elevator. The tension exists between us. It's like a physical presence. We step inside the elevator and those pristine doors close. Inside the elevator, Amy seems to become much more guarded and distant from us. I want to assure her that I mean her no harm, but I'm not going to put the rifle down. So you have pretty high clearance in this place, right? I ask her. That's right. So what kind of experiment are we talking about? What went wrong? When she starts to answer the question, I can tell that it is something of a relief for her to get some of it off her chest. There's been a lot of work on a project taking place here over the last 3 years or so. The purpose is to find out if there is any real viable science behind the point-to-point instantation. Like teleporting, I ask. Oh my God, Marcus says, I had no idea. I knew there was some weird stuff here, but nothing this insane. It's not really all that insane, Amy says. We found our first major breakthrough about 9 months ago. We were able to transport a live rat from its cage on level 3 to a small lab in New Mexico. The trip took the rat 5 seconds. Are you kidding me? Dennis says. I can tell that he wants to sound as if he is mocking the idea, but he fails. He's scared. Not at all, Amy says. The problem was that when the rat arrived, its retinas were detached and its intestines were on the outside of its body. Did you ever perfect it? What is it to do with us now? Well, about 6 months ago, we successfully made that same experiment. The rat arrived in great health and this time in just 3 seconds. Still, one of the things that we needed to tweak in order to make the process completely safe was to figure out how to keep the subject in a straight course. When the matter is being transported, not only are its atoms being unknit and then put back together, upon arrival, unknit, transported, that's pretty much the same. Yes, deconstructed and translated through space. It's the only way we know how to do it right now. But the issue, as I said, comes in keeping the deconstructed subject on a straight course to its destination. When the process occurs, we are deforming space-time. We are creating a shortcut through space, and that has risks. Why exactly? Dennis asks. Because there are many more dimensions in space than the 3 we exist on, she explains. There's some evidence that there are as many as 10. So when you send the rat to New Mexico, it's travelling through another dimension to get there, I ask. Basically, and because of that, we were trying to get a better understanding of what those other dimensions are capable of. Things that a great deal of the population would be scared of if they knew what we were doing, hence all the privacy. Then today the power went out as we were right in the middle of an experiment. Something happened. What? I don't know. She's speaking with the authority of someone who knows what she's talking about. Is that why those creatures are here? Well, it kind of obviously is. What have you seen? I'll go with that. Other worlds, other Tegmart universes, where our laws of nature don't apply, she says, not bothering to explain what that means. I'm not cleared for such things, but I do get the reports. What reports? Marcus asks. I'm given access to results of the tests. In other words, Marcus replies, clearly upset. You guys have been peeking into other dimensions and taking notes on what you see. I can't believe I wasted my life for this, he murmurs to himself. He looks like he's starting to freak out. Amy is quiet. Her expression indicates that she's waiting to see how I react to all of this. Oh, that's you people are. And so it's kind of... Yes, it seems insane because it's gone wrong, but it's kind of incredible that they can do that. You were impressed by Amy's work. Psst, I'm humouring her, guys. I'm just going to humour her. So this is like interdimensional stuff, I ask. In a way, Amy answers. Marcus, on the other hand, is incredulous. I don't want anything to do with this, he says. All this time I've been working for... He laughs cruelly at the sound, and the sound of it makes my blood go cold for a moment. I don't trust this Marcus guy. First chance I get, I'm going to punch him. Just a single level beneath my feet, you assholes have been tearing apart space and time, Marcus continues. When the elevator opens, I can't get out fast enough. The tension is growing way too thick for my liking. Outside of the elevator, we step out into what appears to be a massive industrial area. The carnage waiting for us is unlike anything I've seen in the upper levels. The area looks industrial, like everything was built for utility only, but more noticeable than that is all of the blood. My God, I have never seen so much blood. Those creatures must have had a field day. Holy shit, Marcus says, looking like a man that just awoke from a very bad dream. There were more personnel in this area than when the experiment went haywire, Amy says, as if the explanation makes it all better. The research you all do down here had better be worth it, I say. We have to get moving or we're going to lose our nerve. Amy, let's focus. Barksdale is in the hangar, I ask. If he's still alive, yes, that's where he'll be. Well, let's hurry, I say. As far as I can tell, Dennis is doing much better, but I am beginning to grow tired of trying to keep my fear at bay. Between the blood on the floor, the silence of level 3 and Amy's talk of the lab, I'm getting freaked out. Oh, Amy, take the lead or I'll go first. I have got the gun, so probably I should go first. The four of us start walking ahead with me in the lead. We stop walking when we come to the remains of what looks like to be 3 different people. It's hard to tell how many bodies there were because they have been torn to shreds and are distorted. 2 of the bodies look as though they have been fused together. Another man looks to have had his leg welded through the floor. I can see this man's face. He died in an abject stare of horror, his mouth pried open in an eternal scream. Ugh. Oh, no, keep moving. It's simply too much. Worse than that is the fact that we have just started our journey through level 3. If there is worse waiting up ahead, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. Dennis steps up beside me when he speaks. His voice is soft and flat. What in the hell would do that to someone? He asks. The things I saw, Amy answers. They could do it pretty easily, I think. She looks pale, and I think that she may pass out at any moment. Tears spill from her eyes and she is visibly shaking. But she soldiers on, looking back to me and stepping to the side of the gruesome carnage. Her eyes again go to my rifle, and she doesn't look very hopeful. You good to go? She asks me. We need to move, but for some reason I can't take my eyes off the scene. My mind is reeling, trying to process it all. Oh, we need to go. I get the feeling the game wants to just make me look so it can describe more gruesomeness. Oh, why not? I've never seen so much blood before. What's even more sickening than the mayhem is the unnatural look of it. I'm familiar with blood splatter. I've hit a deer at 60 miles per hour on the interstate with a load of logs hooked up behind me. But many of these bodies have somehow been gently pushed into the wall, through the floor and halfway inside the desk, dead. No explosive power, just squeezed and pressed like clay, their faces contorted into screams trying to comprehend what was happening to them. Ugh. Still, I manage to steady my nerves. I take a few deep breaths and am finally able to continue forward. We leave the grisly sight behind, moving into another equally destroyed area. From what I can tell, the next ring was once an open area for experimentation. The place hasn't been destroyed, it's been physically altered in a way that makes no sense. The girders look to have been warped, their very materials distorted and twisted. To my right, a machine has been catapulted and looks to have somehow merged with the wall rather than crashing into it. Beyond these phenomena, there is the standard violence I was expecting to see. There is a limp arm sticking out from underneath the wreckage and more blood. I see no signs of an explosion, which makes me wonder just how this happened. Seeing the aftermath is sickening enough, but it makes me wonder if Amy saw it while it was happening. Did you see what happened to the girders? Did you see how these people died? Ugh. I only caught a glimpse of it, she says, taking a deep breath. I was closest to the exit, so I just started running. But it was like trying to focus your eye on something that was too close. People's bodies just started twisting and turning. And the thing that did this looked like... She doesn't finish. She's cut off by the sound. Some sound echoing through the facility. It comes from behind us and slightly to the right. I'm not sure what it is, but it makes my blood feel like ice. It sounds almost like static from an AM radio, but there is a high-pitched noise beneath it that I can't even start to fathom. What in the hell is that? I ask, instantly clapping my hands to my ears. One of them, Amy says, her voice in a whisper. One of the creatures. That's what they sound like, Dennis asked. I see that he's leaning against the wall, wincing at the noise. I suddenly realise that I have a deep grip on the rifle, ready to shoot at the next thing I see. How do you... yeah, anything between them and us. That's probably more important. Not really, she says. None of the hallways or blocked off by secure doors. Everyone seems to take this as the cue to start moving again. We make our way around the office wreckage, now with new purpose in our step. We barely make it to the other side of the room, approaching a dark hallway, when another high-pitched noise sounds out. This one is louder, closer. We all share a terrified look, and I can tell that Amy is on the verge of losing it. I grip the rifle tightly as we head towards the hallway in front of us. How much further to the hangar, or can you kill him? Both are important, but I think I'd rather know that one. I don't know, Amy says. Dennis speaks up, his voice like ice. Then let's haul ass. Huh? No one says anything after that, but I can feel the presence of terror around us, pressing in on us like some new violent gravity. And I'm going to stop it right here and say goodbye for now. Thank you for listening, and I shall see you next time.